This is just a short video to show my gratitude to the Utah Progressive Caucus for giving me their endorsement. I'm running under the Democratic nomination for Utah House District 71, but I've always considered myself an independent, but I do consider myself a progressive as well. But people hear that and they think that progressive is a Democrat. But the truth is, to me, I just stand for what I believe in, and I get labeled a progressive or a Democrat by other people. And the things that I believe in is I want the United States to work for working class people. I want people that work full time to be able to afford a home in their hometown. I want everybody to be able to afford healthcare when they get sick so that they don't go bankrupt or die. I want the government to stop corporations from destroying our planet instead of basically subsidizing them to do that. And I want billionaires and corporations to stop buying off our politicians to write whatever laws they want that screw over regular people. In fact, I want a lot of the same things as conservative voters out here, except for there are no politicians in the legislature who are willing to stand for those values. Republicans in the legislature want to defund our public schools. They want to sell off our public lands. They want to weaken unions and rig our maps and overturn ballot initiatives. Frankly, I don't care what you call yourself. I care what you stand for. And frankly, the Republicans that are pretending to represent us just don't. There exists real legislation and real policies that can solve our real problems, and we deserve politicians that are actually going to try to implement those rather than constantly caving to special interests so they can get another campaign donation. If we want Cedar City and Utah in general to be a state where working families can afford to buy a home and start a family and go to school, then we need to get rid of these politicians that are standing in the way of that and elect people to the legislature that are actually going to step up and do the hard work of actually running a state rather than just these performative flag bans and book bans and renaming streets. And I guess this makes me a progressive or a radical or a socialist or something, when I feel like I'm just one of the only sane people in the room. I'm not just running a campaign for Democrats and liberals. I'm running a campaign for all the Republicans and conservatives in this district who actually believe in what America stands for, who actually believe in representative democracy, freedom, and liberty. Because the people that are ruling our world are not on our side. And I understand if you think that the liberal position on trans issues or abortion is extreme, but there's nothing more extremist than organizing your entire society to give unlimited resources and power to a tiny class of elitist pedophile rapists while everybody else lives paycheck to paycheck struggling to get by. All I'm asking for is politicians who actually care about their communities and care about their country, and not this red versus blue, hyper-partisan, toxic divisiveness that allows people to excuse behavior and corruption that is just egregious. We exist on the precipice of this transformative change in this country, from AI and robotics and automation to the extreme consolidation of economic and political power among a tiny fraction of the elites, to global ecological collapse and extreme weather from climate change. We didn't even get any snow this year. But virtually everywhere you look on both sides of the aisle in both parties, there are very few politicians who are actually sounding the alarm about these things. In fact, we can't even stop funding a genocide against Palestinian women and children. And I don't know if you know this, but recently 357 politicians, bipartisan, just voted to permanently seal their sexual assault records, while only 65 politicians voted to release those. We are Americans. We want freedom and justice for all. That includes politicians. We want to know that our tax dollars are funding schools in our communities and not blowing up schools full of Iranian school children in another country. I think, like most people in this country, Republicans or Democrats, I don't fit squarely into a box. But I really do stand for the principles that this country was built on, which is freedom and democracy and equality for all. And instead, what I see happening is both parties getting infiltrated by corrupt politicians who only exist to serve billionaire and corporate interests. So I'll be honest, I tend to land on the Democrat side of the spectrum on a lot of issues, especially social issues like gay rights, women's reproductive health, climate change, and pollution issues. But there's also a lot of overlap with Republican viewpoints. like protecting the Second Amendment from any kind of infringement and promoting small businesses and the local economy, ending fraud and abuse and the waste of our tax dollars, which, by the way, you think that Republicans are the party of fiscal responsibility? I am not living in the same reality as you. At the end of the day, we all deserve to have a future that we look forward to, and the government exists as a tool for the people to choose a better future. And right now, the government is being used as a tool that is wielded against working people in the interest of globalist, plutocratic, oligarchic pedophiles. You can learn all about who I am and what I stand for on my website at votelovehard.com. And please, if anything that I say resonates with you, then consider donating to my campaign, because this is as grassroots as it gets. And if I'm going to have a chance of winning my election in a deep red Republican district, then I'm going to need your help to do that.